25 years ago, in 1982, in the small town of Farmington, New Mexico, one aviation mechanic from Abilene, Texas, had a vision. A vision to establish a shuttle service between Farmington and Albuquerque, offering a pickup truck and their home as collateral. Larry Risley and his wife Janie decided to buy one plane, a 5-seat Piper Chieftain aircraft. With this one small plane, Larry established the foundation from which Mesa Airlines evolved, and what would grow to be one of the world's largest independent regional airlines. This is their story. This is our story.
He mortgaged his house. His wife quit her job as a physical therapist at the hospital, and they both went into the business full-time, and he flew this small company called Mesa Air Shuttle.
Everyone knew who Larry and Janie was. They were actually the patriarch and matriarch of the company as a family. And Janie, his wife, ran the gates. Larry actually worked in maintenance a lot, but he also was a pilot, so he had a little background there.
Larry was a very charismatic guy. He could be very hard to work for, and I sure wouldn't want to be in maintenance because that was his expertise.
He was just another mechanic, you know. He knew how mechanics were, and he knew how the regular guy was, because that's what Larry was.
This was, people that worked together and really made something happen in the middle of nowhere, Farmington, New Mexico, to build a successful regional airline.
During its first few years, Mesa found itself in a very competitive environment, but was able to thrive due to the spirit of its employees and their willingness to do whatever it took to get the fledgling airline off the ground.
Larry always made the point that he didn't just hire pilots, he didn't just hire gate agents, rampers, he hired people.
We didn't have job descriptions. We had primary areas of responsibility, but we all chipped in to do whatever we could do. Whoever was on the plane would jump out and help unload the bags and load the bags. And it didn't matter if it was Larry Risley or a ramper from Farmington, we all would chip in. And it was because we all felt a sense of ownership, we all felt a sense of pride that we were building this little company.
When I first started working with Mesa, there was 9 employees. That included the mechanic, which Larry did a lot of the maintenance on the airplanes. And you sold the tickets, you parked the airplane, and took reservations at the same time. And
We were not a paper company. Nobody was memoing things to death, those type of things. People couldn't believe we'd operate a company that large without huge formal structure, but it worked very well. And the reason it never had that indoctrinated airline culture was Larry. He thought differently, he approached things differently.
The thing about Larry is he was always willing to do whatever he asked you to do. He always worked with you.
And it was many times during that first week I saw Larry Risley going out to the aircraft there to actually grab some bags. So right away we got an impression of what life was going to be like at Mesa, that everybody was going to pitch in and help get the job done.
And people ask me, what do you do different? And I simply comment that I tend to run it as a business rather than an airline.
It was definitely, at that time, it was Larry's airline. I mean, he was around Farmington all the time.
He knew most all the employees by name, and they all knew him, and it was the kind of thing that everyone felt really good about what we were doing.
There was a lot of fun because the work was done by us. I mean, they essentially back in those days would hand you an aircraft and say, here's your airplane for the day, here's your schedule, see if you can get it done. It helped Mesa become what it became.
In 6 years, Mesa's voice was heard throughout the airline industry. The hard work and determination from Larry and his employees had paid off. His vision had become a reality. Larry was content with Mesa at this time, but one man saw the potential for Mesa to soar at even greater heights.
It was a funny story. Larry used to tell all the time about how I showed up in a pickup truck with my stuff tied down with a garden hose.
Jonathan was very outgoing, and he had ideas about where this airline could go and how it could grow. And you had two extremes there, but the two of them worked very well together.
Larry said to me, Jonathan, you have some really good ideas. If you can make a few of these things happen, let's see how things go. And I went out literally without any agreement, without any deal, just based on trust and Larry's word that if things worked out, he'd take care of me, and he certainly did. And joined up with Mesa. My first office was a utility closet at the Farmington Airport.
Jonathan came on board. I mean, you know, he definitely brightened up the place because of his personality.
Jonathan kept working. I mean, Jonathan is nothing if he's not persistent. And I think Larry saw, you know, one, he's dedicated. Number two, he's willing to prove himself. And number three, he has some talent.
And after 2 weeks, Larry put him on the payroll.
The thing that I probably was able to bring was I did have a background in finance, and I did understand acquisitions.
Mesa embarked on a series of several acquisitions and mergers over the next 6 years that would be known by airline industry watchers as Mesa's deal-a-year growth.
Jonathan single-handedly resurrected the deal that really was the first of the large acquisitions that Mesa made over the years.
We bought Aspen Airways, the assets of Aspen Airways, and started up our relationship with United. And Larry could fix an airline better than anyone in the world, and I still think there's no one better at it than Larry, to make that happen. And we would buy these bankrupt companies and turn them around.
Soon thereafter, Mesa did purchase Air Midwest, and Mr. Risley came and did a presentation out on the hangar floor to ease everybody's mind about the purchase of Air Midwest.
And that's what launched us. That's what launched 5 years of doubling every year in 1990.
Mesa's fleet gradually grew with each new plane and each new service route. While the growth of Mesa expanded, so did the size of their planes. From their humble beginnings with one 6-passenger Saratoga, Mesa moved forward with the Beechcraft.
And then we went into pressurized aircraft with a 1900, which for us was a big airplane, a 1900B model. But remember, those aircraft, the fuselage was only 4 foot 9 inches.
And you would have to crawl to your seat in this aircraft. I mean, you had to bend over because the roof wasn't tall enough.
There were no restrooms on board the aircraft.
But it was a big improvement from single-engine piston aircraft, and we were pretty proud of that. When we signed our agreement with United, United wanted us to operate larger aircraft, and that's when we sort of broke through to more commercial type aircraft.
We brought on the Embraer 120 aircraft. That was our first 30-passenger aircraft.
We bought, I believe, 10 of the Embraers. And we were operating more 1900s than anyone else in the world.
A few years down the road, as we got into the Dash 8, a 50-passenger turboprop, more flight attendants, and then we transitioned into the jet. And now our aircraft, we actually have 2 flight attendants on board with our Canadair regional jet 700 and 900 aircraft. So it's quite interesting. I think now we have a total of about nearly 1,200 flight attendants.
This brought Mesa Airlines into the jet age. In 1989, Larry instituted the Pilot Development Program. With on-site training and state-of-the-art equipment, Mesa would have a pool of trained, qualified pilots to choose from. Mesa's continuing dedication and hard work paid off. In 1992, Mesa was awarded Regional Airline of the Year. Together, Larry and Jonathan created a formidable force in the airline industry. It wasn't long before other companies sought their expertise.
I said, Larry, what do you think I ought to do? And like any good father, he told me, you know, that's a great challenge for you. You should go off. And so I left in 1994 to go to Continental, and I was at Continental for about 2 years.
There were a few times where we really had our backs to the wall. It actually got so bad that Larry put payroll on his credit card one week.
Thought the world of Jonathan, and I was sorry when he left, you know, but then he came back and I was happy.
He took over the corporation. We were in pretty dire straits.
Everybody had to regain their ability to believe that Mesa Airlines could really make it again.
And he had great ideas. He was very, very focused, very passionate about the direction that he wanted the company continue to move forward.
When I heard Jonathan came back to take over Mesa, I have so much faith in him that I went out and bought 500 shares of stock.
Larry called and said, you know, Jonathan, I'm turning 50 and I'd want you to think about maybe coming back to Mesa. And I can tell you that that was a really easy decision. It was like coming back for a family reunion. Truly a great experience and one that I will never forget. But we had a lot of work to do. When the company had fallen on some very difficult times, it had lost its relationship with United. We had to make a lot of changes, but at the same time, we tried to stay true to the old Mesa that we knew, where again, we all worked together as a team and with a family spirit. So I brought Mike Lotz, who'd been my chief operating officer in Virgin.
When I got to Mesa in June of 1998, things were pretty tough. We had $8 million in cash. We were losing about $1 million a week, and things were pretty dire, but we made a remarkable recovery. For a company that's been around for 25 years, it's remarkable that we've only had 2 CEOs.
I mean, Larry was, you know, just a great guy, good old boy from Abilene, Texas, and he knew everybody. And he made it a point to know everybody.
When Larry stepped down as CEO of the company, it was really a sad time. He was very emotional, as well as a lot of us employees.
When Larry decided to move on and find someone else to take over the company, he turned to no other than Jonathan Ornstein, who he decided would be the best to take our company to the next level.
He felt comfortable with the company going forward without him, but with me as CEO, and I'm really forever grateful for that.
Larry remained on Mesa's board of directors, and the corporate offices were moved from Farmington to Phoenix.
You know, one of the problems we had in Farmington was recruiting people, because it's a hard place to get to and it's a hard place to move to, and we decided to move the company to Phoenix. And I will say, I think it, in fact, looking back, was one of the best decisions we made.
The end of 1998 through most of 2001, the company really took off. We've added hundreds of regional jets, and things were going remarkably well for us.
By the summer of 2001, we had gotten the company turned around, and then of course, in September of 2001, 9/11 occurred, and it was as if we were right back to square one. And it became, again, another challenge to keep our airplanes flying. We had to really restructure our entire business away from the 19-seat turboprops and move towards a regional jet. So that, once again, required everybody to pull together and I think work our way through what has been the most difficult period of aviation.
You know, it was really his entrepreneurial spirit that brought us through those times.
The devastating events of 9/11 created a crisis in the aviation business. Thanks to the dedication and hard work of its employees, Mesa has been profitable every quarter since December of 2001.
After experiencing phenomenal growth with regional jets, in 2005, Mesa was named for the second time Regional Airline of the Year.
The year also marked a milestone for Mesa as it topped $1 billion in revenue and moved from regional to national carrier. Recently, the Mesa Angels Foundation was created. It's a charitable organization that provides assistance to people in critical financial need. The foundation made significant contributions to the emergency relief efforts following Hurricane Katrina. The Mesa Angels Foundation is funded primarily through the generous contributions of Mesa's employees.
You know, one of the new things that we've done is we began GO, an inter-island carrier in Hawaii. It's small with only 5 airplanes, but we're carrying almost 70,000 passengers a month, and we've developed a terrific brand name. We've developed a partnership with Shenzhen Airlines in China, which we think will be one of the fastest growing and most important transportation aviation markets in the world. And we think China is going to be just a terrific joint venture with our friends at Shenzhen. You know, Mesa provides a very important service to major airlines. We operate smaller aircraft that they could not operate cost effectively.
We provide low-cost, reliable regional jet service to mainline air carriers like Delta Airlines, United Airlines, US Airways, and in the past America West, with over 200 aircraft, over 150 regional jets, 1,200 departures a day, and a great workforce of over 5,500 employees.
But when I first joined the company, we had 150 employees. Our largest aircraft was a 19-passenger turboprop. If I miss anything, it was that personal relationship that we developed not just with the people in the office, but with people in the hangar and people out on line, and all the folks in accounting or the people in res we were all basically in the same office. I think it's been tougher, but I also think it's made us a better company in a lot of respects, giving us the opportunity to grow and continue to build on the track record that we have over the last 25 years.
I can't see myself without being at Mesa. From the loyalty to the teamwork to all the individuals that feel like family to me.
People here at Mesa that have worked and made Mesa the success that it has been for the last 25 years.
A spirit of a family at Mesa Airlines.
Mesa has been my family for almost 20 years, and I've loved every minute of it.
My favorite part about Mesa is the people.
The loyalty, the sense of pride, the looking back and looking where we started.
It's a great experience, and I will never be able to thank Larry for the opportunity he gave me.
We care for each other, we want the best for each other, and it truly is a family.
I would clearly say it's been by far the best experience of my business career. I really feel that the next 10 years can be even better as long as we continue to work together the way we have for 25 years, the way we did when the company was founded. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I have is making sure that that spirit that was created by Larry and Janie back 25 years ago is continued going forward.